So as we get older, our bodies go through different changes, and we have to sometimes adjust what we're doing as our body changes. And one of those things might be eating better. So let's talk to today's guest and see what that might look like.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I'm so happy you're here today. And don't forget, like our social media, leave a comment, and we will help us spread the word. So today's guest is Dr. Ginny Trierweiler. And
Okay.
hey, doctor, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Lois? Good to see you.
You too. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Yeah. Well, I am a psychologist and a health coach, and I help women, especially in their 50s and 60s, learn how to eat in a way that just really works with our body. It just becomes so critical at this age. So we just don't have to have eating be this big stressful issue in our life or our weight, etc., because it really doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, isn't it weird? I mean, is it God's joke to make our bodies so after 40?
I think I don't think it would fit. I don't know. Yeah, I had a rough time with menopause. I really did. So I just don't think it would have been so hard if I had ever learned how to eat right. Like once I changed my eating, so many things changed. I had pain and inflammation to the point where I could barely walk, and that just really went away, right? Trouble sleeping went away. It's like, oh, this is pretty basic, and it's just not how we learn to eat. We learned
Yeah.
such weird things about eating in our culture.
Well, and especially as children, I think that, and I'm guilty of this as a mom, it was just, sometimes it was easy just to pull out the mac and cheese box. It's like,
Totally.
oh, I'm exhausted. Let's make this easy. Here's a hot dog and
Yeah.
macaroni and cheese. Or, I was thinking the other day, because my grandchildren love eating avocados. I
Yay.
didn't
Yeah.
know what an avocado was when my kids were little.
Right. Right.
It's like,
Did
this
you
is so
grow up with
hard.
the meat and potatoes and green beans out of a can thing? Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
One of
So
my
what
friends
is
was
like,
just telling me he hates eating vegetables. I hate vegetables. He's 73 or something. I'm
ugh.
like, it's a really big category of food, and it's really important. Do you want to say you hate the whole category? I just do. I just remember the green beans. I know. They didn't help us, our mothers, that way.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I never heard of asparagus until like
Or
what?
he was actually, my friend was actually talking about asparagus out of a can and just really limp and
No,
terrible
I don't think
texture.
I've seen it in a can.
Oh, they do sell it that way. I don't know who eats that.
So what would you say is the number one mistake that women are making when it comes to like eating and weight and not knowing what foods and
Oh, yeah. I would say the number one mistake is thinking when we put on excess fat and we dislike it, is thinking, I just need to eat less.
Mhm.
And we got that idea from a lot of places, like from our doctors and from the government and from all over the place. And it's
Yeah.
just not really true. And there's a lot of research now showing that really isn't quite the answer. It's a misunderstanding, a misapplication of what we understand. So it's a big mistake. And it actually provokes our body to store more fat to protect us more from weight loss. So I feel mad about it, frankly. Like we just end up in this terrible, conflicted, what am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me kind of place. And it's not our fault. Like it's what we were told to do.
Mhm. Yeah, and I would reflect that, that's what my parents did, so it's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, you're right. That's just what we thought. Just
right,
don't eat candy and sugar and eat less
right.
food. And actually, in my 20s and 30s, that worked.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what's really annoying about it. But that used to work. Like if you'd asked me when I was 40 years old, I would say donuts and coffee for breakfast. It's fine. It's enjoyable. Just eat whatever and it'll be fine. You just exercise a little more, eat a little less if you gain weight. Yeah, until that stopped working when I went into menopause, and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't make that my business because I would have really misled a lot of people at that age.
Yeah. Or even like I remember friends in college that would go down and get a candy bar and a Diet Coke. Like, well,
Yeah.
surely this balances out.
I know. It's like that became our focus, right? I'm going to eat
Mhm.
as little as possible when that becomes necessary, and then I'll indulge, and then I'll eat as little as possible. This is terrible for our bodies. So, what we really didn't learn is what are the highly nutritious foods that our body needs, and how much of them do they need? There's this interesting thing I learned a few years ago, which is that 73% of the food in the grocery store is not actually food, it's ultra highly processed stuff.
Mm. Yeah.
And so for me, as I became a professional and I had more income, I was going up the health food aisles thinking, ooh, I'm so excited about this snacky stuff that's really more expensive and has more antioxidants and whatever the packaging said. And I really still wasn't prioritizing nutrition at all like I thought I was.
Hmm.
So it really landed me in terrible shape, pre-diabetes, et cetera, 60 pounds overweight. Yeah. Yeah, I thought, the thing that happened is I had this big wake up call that I started working as a psychologist in nursing homes, and my patients kept saying, "You got to get me out of here. My kids have taken my car, they're selling my house, I don't belong here."
Oh.
And I was like, "Well, I've got to help you get out of here." And I started researching their conditions. Not one of them could ever get out again. They had passed a threshold. And so this story I had for myself of I'm young and I'm healthy and I'm invested in my health and I eat really healthy really just kind of collapsed when I looked in the mirror and thought, I can barely walk anymore from so much inflammation, trouble with my feet since childhood. Like I'm going to end up in a nursing home in the next 10 years. I realized a huge percentage of them are in their 60s and 70s. And that's right where I was headed at that time. So it's like, no, I need to figure this out. Like I'm a scientist. I can go find answers. And
So what
and
does
I could
eating healthy look like now?
yeah, I don't call it eating healthy
Okay.
anymore because the term is so misused. I call it, what I say is one of the first fundamental that I discovered is we have to eat abundant, highly nutritious foods. So that's real nutrient dense foods, a lot of them. And so right now it's less than half of what most of us are eating is actually highly nutritious foods. So that's why we feel like this undue sense of hunger. Like, I'm just hungry. Like, it's between meals, but I just need to eat. It's because we are eating so many things that aren't actually nutritious. So the real food, the real whole food actually serves us, and the packaged, processed, convenient stuff really doesn't serve us, except that it gives us calories. Like it lets us survive the day, but it sets us up for metabolic issues that becomes chronic. So more than half of us now will end up with one or more of those chronic metabolic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, dementia, and cancer. It's like makes me mad.
Yeah. So mainly like shop the
The
outer
perimeter.
aisles.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's not just, I mean, it is something that happens when you go to the grocery store, but
Mhm.
figuring out, okay, if the real whole foods are the things that are nutritious and probably less than half of my diet is that, the real big thing to understand is how do I really increase the amount of those I'm eating and crowd out the stuff that has become more high value to me, more exciting, more extra pleasing? How do I start to have this tranquil kind of pleasure with eating instead of excess excitement and then stress and anxiety and cravings and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and how do I plan those meals? That's my thing. That's my number one thing I do not like about adulting. Have to
Yeah.
figure out what to eat for meals.
Yeah. Well, and there's been an industry since we were kids, really selling like you don't have to think about this. We'll do it all for you. We'll
Yeah.
pre-digest it for you. We'll sell it to you juiced or powdered or whatever, and all you have to do is put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
I have figured out how to prepare food that I can get ready quickly,
Mm.
but it took a bit of intention for a while. If I'm going to pretty much only eat nutritious foods, And a lot of them, how is that going to be possible? How do I do my shopping? How do I do my food preparation? So it's building new skills. Like the skills we learned go with a way of eating that makes us sick.
Hmm.
So we can build new skills and capacities to do this if we decide, I think that really matters,
Yeah,
right?
right. Like for me, which I just saw this on Facebook,
Yeah.
I do like spinach,
Yeah,
but like I buy it at Sam's Club because it's a reasonable price. It's better price and all, but
right.
it can like I have a fourth of it still in the container when it starts going bad, and so I
That
think
stops happening
I'm
when
sorry.
you that stops happening when you start focusing on abundant, nutritious foods.
Explain that for me.
So let's say I'm going to have a giant salad every day, which at first sounded like, well, I don't really want that. But now I love it. I really look forward to it because I figured out how to make a giant salad, have all the things that make it interesting and delicious. So I almost never have vegetables go bad like I did when I was dieting. So why
Mhm.
is that? I think it's because when you look at salad, you look at vegetables as diet food, it's like, oh, I have to eat those.
Yeah.
That emotional attachment to the different kinds of foods is part of what needs to change. This is part of why once I found answers that predictably led to great results, I knew, yeah, but people need to interrupt old habits and replace them with better habits that they can just do more easily with momentum. Like it just has to become easy. That's what I'm expert in as a psychologist. How do you break old bad habits that just like they're wired into your brain? And how
Yeah.
do you put new wiring in your brain? You have to start to fall in love with the nutritious foods.
Mm. If it brought me flowers and candy, I would fall in love.
Oh no.
Oh, wrong mindset. Oh. Well, okay, on some information I have, you talk about piecemeal. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I think about it like I love researching things out in the world, right? So what are they saying about spinach? What are they saying about kale? What are they saying about all these superfoods? What can I do? What's the minimum effort thing I can do to get a change in my results? So I'm constantly looking for ideas and I go, oh, I like this one. I don't like that one. I like this one. And so I throw a plan together based on what sounded good to me and what sounded appealing to me. And so I know in terms of evidence-based practices, piecemealing an intervention doesn't lead to good results.
Oh, okay.
So we have to have a coherent intervention that can be replicated. People can, they can know if they're doing it, they can test themselves. That's what I finally realized that allowed me to find answers that held together is I need to look at these hundreds of research studies out there and find what are the principles that lead to great results as opposed to everyone ends up with cancer and diabetes and dementia, right? So it was pretty clear when I took that lens to it. So I found these simple principles. And then when I really put legs under them, like I got really clear, well, how much of this do I need to eat? And how much of that do I need to eat? Then it became very doable, very simple. I could check if I was doing it or not. Am I answering your question? I get
Yes.
excited about this science.
Yeah, we were talking about piecemeals.
Oh, yeah. So I stopped piecemealing. I stopped throwing together what I wanted to. So this has become such a big theme for me throughout my career is like, uh, if I want to believe, I ran a Montessori school for years, and I was so touched at the capability and consideration of 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, and 3-year-olds in a Montessori school. And it's because they're super motivated to become a people with people
Mm,
skills, to be able to walk, to be able to feed themselves, to be able to even help with setting the table, etc., taking care of the dog. And if we feel like, yeah, but I just want to baby them at that age, and then I want them to be more self-sufficient as teenagers, we just disrupted the whole natural order of things.
uh-huh.
Like they're motivated when they're 1 and 2 to learn how to do these things. And if we don't let them, they become these kind of bratty, incompetent, take care of me, entitled
Hmm.
people, right?
Hmm.
So it was super touching to see how considerate and capable and confident they could be. This was my first book actually
Okay.
about toddlers. So that's just a reality. They really want to do these things when they're little. And if we don't recognize that reality, we don't help them become their best selves. There's a reality to what our bodies actually need. So just going and looking for answers that I like
Mhm.
is not going to lead me to a healthy place,
And
right?
I would imagine each body needs something different because we're all different people. So it's kind of
Somewhat.
really exploring a little bit more about yourself. Am I wrong?
Yeah, somewhat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. People take that too far, I think. So I think about people who never eat vegetables and they say, when I eat vegetables, I get gas.
Oh.
Yeah, that's because you don't have healthy gut bacteria. And now to get healthy gut bacteria is going to be a little bit more of a painful process,
Mm.
right? So
Mhm.
our body goes through all these adaptations, and here's what I think we need to do is really give our body what it needs to have the conditions to be
Mhm.
really well in a way that just sustains over time. But to give it those conditions means consistently giving it nutritious foods. That's the number one first thing. And that's just not how we learn to eat. We learn to eat what's pleasurable, that's natural. So now, how do we find pleasurable the things that nourish our bodies consistently?
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
passionate about it.
yeah,
You're being
that's
very
good.
patient with
That's
me.
good. Well, tell me about your book.
Yeah, so it's called Slender for Good After 50, Eat More, Stress Less, and Never Diet Again. So I know that sounds kind of catchy, which I'm glad about, but I really mean never diet again. Never focus on eating as little as you can. It's just going to make your body fight back. Like you're now in a battle with your body, and that's why it feels terrible. People feel like they're failing. Eat more, I really mean. It's not like eat more candy and chips, but really
More ice
starting with
cream.
exactly. Starting with eating more of the nutritious foods is both biologically and psychologically easier to do what's really going to change the conditions in our body. If we start with, well, I got to cut out this and I got to cut out that, it's very hard to even get started. Our body is feeling scared, our mind is feeling scared. How's that going to work?
Mm.
It's not going to hold up, right? So eat more, stress less. So this is one of the most exciting things to me is it often changes our energy, our mood, our sense of confidence in our lives
Mm.
to discover, oh, I really can enjoy eating really nutritious foods in abundance. I can really feel proud of feeding myself this way. I can eat differently from how everyone around me is eating and feel really good about it. I think about vegans, that's just their identity, right?
Yeah.
They don't care how great something smells. They're like, no, yuck, I don't want that. So we need an identity of I feed my body nourishing foods because that's how I love myself. Instead of what my identity was, I go out to eat every night and get dessert and get wine because that's how I love myself. It's like, yeah, my identity has shifted.
Yeah. So now it's more like, I'm a healthy eater. I'm taking care of
Yes,
my
the
body. I'm going
the
to
way
live
I call
longer
it
and
is
better.
I call it a wise eater
Uh-huh.
because there's a wisdom to eating according to the realities of what our body needs. It makes me feel better. And healthy eater is is just a term that's been co-opted by food industry.
Yeah. Marketing. That's a marketing
Yes.
strategy. Yeah.
Yes, it's too bad, but yeah.
Hmm. So, okay, we're going to give away one of your books.
Oh, nice.
So, Giant Builders, leave a comment in the YouTube version of this podcast, and we'll have a drawing, and I will get one of Ginny's books and send it to you.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Yay.
Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. We can thoroughly enjoy eating in a simple, wise way. We don't know it because of the way we've been conditioned in our lives. We think it's going to be sad. We've been conditioned to dieting. People love eating this way. I just had somebody graduate from my 12-month program and say, this is just easy. I don't even know why anyone would think this is hard. It just makes sense. It's easy. Like she is now exercising an hour a day. Her whole life has just opened up, partly just because of the energy she has. I just want people to know it can feel great
Mm.
to eat in a way that makes your body really healthy and happy.
So what does it look like when somebody has a first meeting with you?
Mm-hmm. Like first meeting,
Look
like
for your coaching or
to explore.
uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, we talk about what their goals are. So one thing I can tell you is if somebody wants some kind of quick fix, I just want to lose weight for a wedding in the spring or in the summer. I'm probably not their person. I am so not into quick fixes. So I will kind of rule that out. But if there's someone who's like, I've tried all the things and the things that used to work don't work anymore, then I want to ask what they've tried and are they willing to learn a different way of eating that's simpler and wiser and just really try it. Like, could you try it for several months to even a year and see if it completely feels worth continuing to do? So if there are people who can learn and then apply what they're learning and, and sustain something, that's who I want to work with.
The great thing about doing that for several months or a year is that your taste buds change.
Yes,
And so what
they
you're
really
eating,
do.
yeah, what you're eating tastes better or
Yes.
wonderful, and it becomes your lifestyle.
Yes, our gut changes, our brain changes, and our taste buds change. That's partly how, like, it's not just a psychological thing, starting to enjoy the nutritious foods. It's our body going, thank you.
Mm,
Yeah, which feels good. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So I will have Dr. Ginny's information below. So giant builders, reach out to her, and especially if you're our age and you no longer can eat that cupcake for breakfast every day and it sticks on your hips and your thighs and doesn't go away, then
Yeah.
we could talk to Dr. Ginny about a healthier eating style.
Yeah. It feels better to show up strong and healthy and knowing where that comes from. Like, I can do that. That's not hard anymore.
Mm, yeah. So, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your input, and I will have all your contact information below.
Thank you, Lois.
All right. See you next week, Giant Builders.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.